Hello everyone, my name is Akansha Mehrotra. I'm a 5th SEM computer science student, and today I'll be talking about the challenges of remote education. So I will be explaining the following things in my presentation. I will be talking about what is remote education, what are the problems currently faced in this domain, how can we tackle these challenges, and a short conclusion. From each person to every industry, there was no one who had not been affected by the pandemic during 2020-2021. It led to school closures, university closures, and even work closures, work office closures, to contain the virus and to ensure that the infections did not spread. However, distance learning powered by emerging technologies has allowed the continuity of education in many parts of the world, including India. School, colleges, and universities have been relying on distance learning to bridge these geographical and time differences, as many of the students lived either across the country or in different cities where they couldn't attend classes on campus. It is an effective method used by schools to increase their class size without necessarily scaling up their facilities. This means that a bunch of sections could have been combined together and been dealt by a single faculty, as through online learning it is not possible to have one-on-one doubt clearing sessions, nor can the teacher ensure that every single student is able to understand all the concepts. However, distance learning comes with its share of challenges, and we will be talking about those right now. One of the biggest problems faced, especially in India, was the lack of access to the internet. It was seen that more than 60% of the students did not have access to the internet. This came in the form of not having the right equipment or having issues with the data connectivity or data usage. Only 20% of the students were actually able to access the online education, out of which half of them actually truly attended these classes. This shows that there is a huge lack of availability of these platforms and the requirements needed for distance learning to take place. The second issue faced was adaptability. The change from in-person to virtual learning was very disruptive, as some of the learners took very long to adapt to the new style. Apart from this, a lot of students are used to the environment of sitting in a classroom and learning while the teacher looks at you. So when this wasn't available, it it became very difficult for them to concentrate and to actually learn. Along with this, a lot of students depend on other students to teach them, as they struggle learning in class. So distance learning also posed this issue on them. Lack of motivation and distraction were one of the biggest challenges imposed by remote learning. As I mentioned before, since the teacher cannot give their complete time to every student or do one-on-one sessions or doubt clearing sessions, this resulted in lack of motivation from the students. They weren't as driven to study, as they knew that um, there is nothing to check upon them to ensure that their learnings are going well. So this also resulted in distractions, them being distracted, them not being able to concentrate, which led to them being like to use social media applications or listen to music or get on call with other friends. Another huge issue faced were the technical issues, which included both hardware and software and internet related problems. Internet speed plays a very important role on how quickly you attend these classes. Therefore, if you have high speed internet and good connectivity, you're able to listen to the classes at all times, you're able to join on time, you're able to stay connected throughout, and you're able to learn everything that is being said. A huge problem that we faced was during attendances, where a lot of people lost their connections and weren't able to give their attendances on time. Another huge problem was that a lot of students, as well as some of the teachers, did not have sufficient knowledge and skills to use tools such as MS Word, MS Excel, and PowerPoint. Lack of such basic computer knowledge made it very hard for learners to use communication related apps and study materials. Now that I've spoken about the problems, here are some of the solutions. How do we tackle all of these problems? First, we need to create awareness and promote remote education. If not full-time, at least part-time, so that everybody is able to learn the basic skills, everybody is able to have the required equipment, and everyone knows what to do in case of emergencies, such as the pandemic. After all of this is done, the other challenges that we could tackle are the time management. That is, teaching effectively, not taking 1 hour classes as you would on like when you're on campus, because no student is able to concentrate for that long. We could practice teaching in small groups so that one-on-one discussions are encouraged and doubts are cleared on time, which will make the student fall in love with learning again so that they prepare and they study and they don't get distracted as much. One last thing that we could do is we could create room for feedback, have continuous surveys, have forms to fill out where people can stay anonymous so that they can give their point of view without being known, such that all this constructive criticism can be taken in for a better um, experience. So, in conclusion, I would like to say that whenever there is a problem, there is always a solution. The current system in the online learning segment has many shortcomings, and it's not limited to the list above. That being said, this segment is relatively young and it will keep changing. The system is always changing and evolving rapidly, so there will always be more problems, but there will always be even more solutions. The online education world has multiple upsides that will make, such as making the education cheaper and more widely available. This will also ensure that gone are the days of fixed curriculums, and hence allowing students to be more open and make their own choices of which subject they would want to learn. This would help them explore the career of their dreams and not be restricted to the old fixed curriculums, which are now outdated. Yet, the biggest hurdle that the EdTech has to come is replicating the charm of in-person learning and making the experience more immersive, as technical difficulties often get in the way. Thank you.